This isn't the scariest story you'll ever hear, but this also proves that there are some very, very crazy women out there. So I was around 10 years old at this time, and my dad was a few years sober now when he had met this crazy woman named Casey. They worked at the same job, helping each other become sober. My father and I's relationship was finally starting to get better, and he had an apartment, and I would come stay with him whenever I wasn't at my mom's. Casey lived in the complex next to his. I remember walking over to the dog park next to her apartment to meet her and her dog, and she seemed nice enough. She had started staying with us more and more, and I'm pretty sure she basically moved in at this point, but still had her own apartment as well. One thing that always bothered me though was that she always, and I mean always, cleaned my room for me, and I hated that. I'm an OCD type of person, and things have their spots, and I like my stuff a certain way, so that always made me angry. But anyways, time went on, and I found out that she was pregnant. I was actually really happy about it, but oftentimes I would see her smoking, and it really scared me because she was pregnant. As time went on, my father broke up with her, and I was really shocked and confused about it, but I was also still excited to have a little sibling. Well, a few weeks later, my dad got back with his ex that is now my stepmother, Ashley. Well, we did go, and we found out it was going to be a boy. The last time I hung out with Casey was when she took me to get ice cream. She had picked me up from my mom's. My father had no clue she did this, and he later made me block and delete her off my phone. She told me that she wanted to name the baby boy Asher, or something like that, but couldn't because it reminded her of Ashley. Now, this is when it gets fucking crazy. So the last time we heard from Casey was when she had texted my father that she had lost the baby. We've never heard from her since. Basically, she said to my mother that my father had made her leave her job where she had met my dad because they shouldn't work together, which was total bullshit. She also said that my father never went to the doctor's appointments because he didn't want to, or because he was too busy. But in reality, she never told him or didn't want him to go. And here's the craziest part. My dad wanted pictures of the sonogram, so she ended up sending him random looked up sonograms from the internet. So yeah, all in all, this lady traumatized a 10-year-old girl, but also lied about being pregnant just to get back together with my father, which didn't even work. Casey, you're an absolutely terrible and manipulative person, and I think my dad really dodged a bullet by breaking up with you. I can't believe you lied about being pregnant. Who the fuck does that? I need to give a trigger warning for violent death and violence in this story. It's very graphic. I'm a guy from the UK, and I'm currently 23, but I was 18 years old at the time of this story. So my parents had bought me some concert tickets for this singer that I was super into, and all three of us were going to go together. It was in a different town than where we lived, so we had planned to get onto a train there and then stay at a hotel for the night. This being a pop singer, my dad wasn't all that interested in the concert, so he would have stayed at the hotel and then come to pick us up at the end of the show. So fast forward to the end of the week. Our plans were sort of interrupted when my sister said she was going away for the whole week with her family. She had originally told my parents all about this a while back, but they thought it was at a later date. This meant that my dad would have to stay home to look after our dog when we had originally planned for the dog to stay at my sister's house. So anyways, the day of the concert comes, and me and my mom travel down on the train. After looking around the city for a few hours and spending some time in our hotel, we had walked to the concert arena. Now, to enter this building, you had to walk through these long, wide tunnels, sort of like an underpass. These then lead to the foyer, where the merch stands were. I was expecting some sort of doorway with security to get inside, as that's what I experienced at previous concerts, so I felt slightly uneasy walking in. I half jokingly, half serious then told my mom, "Wow, man, literally anybody can just walk in here." There were doors which led to the concert hall from the foyer, and they had staff checking bags and tickets, though the bag check wasn't thorough at all. I had a large bag with merch that I had bought, and I opened it up. He literally just glanced at the item on top and then said I could go through. We get some food and I buy some merch, then we head to our seats, which were maybe about 20 rows from the back. The concert was amazing. I'd been wanting to see this person live for about 7 to 8 years at this point. The concert eventually ends and everybody's getting up from their seats.